Hey, beautiful people. My name is James Chase, and I'm a Jesus follower. I've been following Jesus for going on 9 years now. A few weeks ago was my rebirth day. For those of you who don't know, that involves a lot of grace, a change of heart, and a ton of water. I could go into more detail, but for now, I'd like to talk about Genesis for a little bit. In an article I read near the end of last year, it said that it takes approximately 70 hours to read the entire Bible. If you break that down, that means it would take nearly 12 minutes a day to get from Genesis to Revelation by December 31st. I decided to take this challenge and read the Bible all the way through in a year. But me being the do too much person that I am, I bumped it up to an even 15. Yeah, I'm being an overachiever right now. I started this challenge, not a challenge, but just a daily reading to be disciplined and get through the Bible and deepen my relationship earlier this week. I think it was Monday or Tuesday. But what I'd like to do here on this Saturday, January 26th, is to share my thoughts and things that stuck out to me. Maybe you can glean something from it, walk away with something that will either start your relationship with God or deeper the relationship you already have. But without any further ado, let's get into the things that I discovered while reading the first few chapters of Genesis. God exists, first and foremost. As I began reading Genesis this time around, I realized something. In the creation story, there's this downward motion of things being created. There's the God who, outside of space and time, says, "Let there be light." And there was. And then he creates the waters and the earth and the plants. And eventually the sixth day comes and we're made. Man, molded out of the dirt and given the literal breath of life. I think it's awesome, but God said it was very good. So let's go with that. And it was. If you look around, you see that humans are amazing. Doctors and firefighters and teachers and comedians and athletes, people all throughout time and history, all throughout the world doing great things and displaying what we're capable of. And on that same token, you see that humans are also flawed. Murderers and rapists and thieves and liars, selfish people all over the world throughout time and history. They're doing terrible things and displaying what we're capable of. I see the good and the evil and I think something isn't right. And I consider my own evils, my lying, my cheating, my stealing, my selfishness, and think, well, I'm not right. I think most of us have this feeling of not rightness. If not with ourselves, then with the world around us. Things aren't the way they should be. And this is where God comes in. Right at the corner of good and evil is Him, God. When I began to know Him 9 years ago, He began to make sense of the world around me. How that the capacity to do great acts of kindness and goodness and also horrible acts of evil can reside in the same person. After knowing Him, I became to understand what is commonly known as the moral law. That God is the reason we have a good and an evil and a way to tell the difference. In the reading of the story of creation, it's seen that God put an order to the world, from the greatest galaxies to the very first man. And He gave an order to people. And as the story goes, the people didn't do so good with keeping God's order in order. And God wasn't pleased. In His wrath, He cursed Adam, Eve, and the serpent. And in His grace, He clothed them and sent them out so they wouldn't live in sin forever. Adam and Eve, that is. This is the amazing and awesome character of God. So, I want you to know that a God exists. That in the same way He breathed life into Adam and gave life to Eve, He gave life to us. And the same way that we are born as enemies, we have that chance to become friends, to become children of God and to embrace him in love. And even while we were enemies, he loves us. And we go through life having choices to make, whether they be good or evil. And at the end of our lives, at the end of my life, I know I'm going to become face to face with him. I know I'm going to face him the same way that Adam and Eve did when God confronted them in the garden. I don't know when that day is, but I know it's coming. And I want to be ready. And I want you to be ready. So that's what I wanted to walk away with. Well, that's what I got from Genesis this first couple of days. It's what I wrote down. It's what I wanted to share with you. And I hope you found it useful. Hope that you found this time here to not be a waste. I'm glad that you came by. Really, it means a lot. One last thing before I go is in sharing things with you, I wanted to share some music. So in the background, you're going to hear something from a band that I am increasingly liking more and more every day. They go by the name of Isla Vista Worship. It's a band out of California. I think that's where I know Isla Vista to be. I need to do my research and make sure that's right. So I've been listening to them for the past few days now. They just recently put out a new single called So In Love. It's a remix of a song that they put out in 2017, and it's just amazing. So check out this band, Isla Vista Worship. The song you're listening to is called 814. It's based off of the main singer who gave his life to Jesus in August of 2014. I think that's pretty cool. So check it out. Thanks for coming by. I really appreciate it. Stay beautiful. Love God. Love people. See ya.
I give you my all.